Hello, welcome to Reading with Mo, and today we're going to be talking about some awesome books I have picked up recently. There are a good amount of books I'm going to share with you guys today. I have been pretty good, I feel like, with limiting my book buying recently over the past few months. I mean, I don't really have much space on my shelves, so that also has been a big factor in me not really buying too many books lately, but I have kind of accumulated a good amount, so I thought I would share them with you guys because I know I'm not going to be able to read all of them super soon, so I still wanted to show you guys what I've kind of picked up recently. All these books I've purchased myself. None of them have been sent to me to talk to you guys about or from publishers or anything. So let's go straight into them. The first one is my probably most excited one. As soon as I seen this box set on, I believe it was on like Instagram, I knew I had to purchase it. So that would be this beautiful boxed set of books by the author Zora Neale Hurston. So these are quite a few books that come in this set, and the box even itself is so gorgeous. So it has this beautiful illustration of Zora herself on the front, and then some nice like wraparound illustrations on the rest of the box. I'm definitely going to be keeping these stored in the box themselves because they are so beautiful. And they're just as beautiful on the inside. I'll show you what books come in the set and what the covers look like. So the only one that I've read so far, which I have loved, is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I'll go ahead and show you the rest, which, like I had said before, I haven't read them. But I am thinking that something I would like to do, I'm not sure when, maybe I'll start later on in the year, would be to read one book a month until I have finished all of her books that I own, because I believe I have like one or two other like short story collections somewhere on my shelves of hers. And the publisher on these is Amistad, in case you guys were curious on who published this. I purchased mine from Amazon, but I believe there's a few different online booksellers that you can get them from. Then we have Dust Tracks on a Road, a memoir that has an introduction by Maya Angelou. And we have the complete short stories from her. Next we have Seraph on the Suwannee. Then we have Mulebone, a comedy of Negro life. Then there's Jonah's Gourdvine, Mules and Men, Tell My Horse, Every Tongue Got to Confess, Negro Folktales from the Gulf States, and then last but not least, we have Moses, Man of the Mountain. I really love the cover art that they went with for each of these books. I believe each of them individually have different illustrators and artists that created the covers. I definitely can't wait to get to all of these books. They're such beautiful editions, and I have loved Their Eyes Were Watching God for forever. I've been meaning to reread it forever, so I think that definitely is a project that I'm looking forward to taking on sometime this year. Next, I ordered a book trilogy from Book Depository, and that is the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb. This is the third series set in the Realm of the Elderling series. I'm planning on reading book 1, which is Fool's Errand, during the month of March, and then I'll be reading the other two in April and May. So I figured I would just pick them all up at once, so that way I can continue with each of them as I go along. I've been kind of buying each set like as one set as I finish the other one. So I just finished the the Live Ship Traders series in the month of February, so now I'm going to be reading the Tawny Man one, and I'm hoping I enjoy it just as much as I've loved the first two series. And this one is a fantasy series that is set in this fictional world that Robin Hobb has created. It's so complex, I'm not even going to attempt to try to explain it to you guys here right now. Just know that I am enjoying my time with the series. I'm looking forward to continuing on. Next, we'll do a couple books that I actually have purchased recently, and I finished them already. So Target was pretty much the reason why I'm even doing this book haul, because they were having a sale, which I never can pass up when they do, which is buy 2 books get 1 free. And I typically will do their online ones because they have more of a selection than going, say, like into a physical Target store. And I picked up the second book, the sequel to Black Girls Must Die Exhausted, which is Black Girls Must Be Magic. I read this one in February and gave this one 4 stars, as well as I read this one, Notes on Execution by Danya Kukafka, which I gave 5 stars to. This one's like a literary suspense book. I really enjoyed this one. We're following a serial killer and the women in his lives that affected him and that he affected. It's very interesting. This I think was my first 5-star read for the year. And then this one is more of a contemporary novel, which I don't really read a lot of books that are kind of like strictly in that contemporary genre or solidly in that genre, but I really enjoyed my time reading this. Even though it does kind of handle more difficult topics, I feel like it does it in a very lighthearted, easy to consume way. So I definitely enjoyed my time with this. This is actually a trilogy, so I'm going to read the third one when it comes out. Next, we have a nonfiction book that was a recent release. I mentioned this in my most anticipated books for the first quarter of 2022, and that was Worn: A People's History of Clothing by Sophie Thanhauser. This one's described as a panoramic social history that tells the 5 stories of linen, cotton, silk, synthetics, and wool about the clothes we wear and where they come from. As someone who's always had an interest in fashion design and fashion history, when I was in high school, I thought I was going to go to FIDM, which is the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, and while that never ended up panning out, it is a topic that I still am very much interested in and would love to learn more about, so I'm hoping that this book kind of fulfills that for me. Next, we have a short story collection. This one's been on my radar forever and I decided to pick it up. I don't think I've actually purchased very many short story collections recently, and this is Black from the Future, a collection of Black speculative writing. It's edited by Stephanie Andrea Allen and Lauren Sherrill. I really think the cover on this one is just really beautiful. This collection of Black speculative writing encompasses the broad spectrum of Black speculative writing, including science fiction, fantasy, magical realism, and Afrofuturism, all by Black women writers. So I'm really hoping I can get to this one soon because I have not really read a lot of speculative writing before, so I'm interested to kind of expose myself to it a bit more and see if it's something that I'm really into or not. Next, we have another nonfiction book, and that is Disfigured on Fairy Tales, Disability, and Making Space by Amanda Ladek, I think is how you say it. I have heard nothing but good things about this book from other people here on BookTube who have read it and reviewed it. This book is all about fairy tales and how they influence our views on disability. So this author, she's looking at different stories, fairy tales like the Brothers Grimm to Disney, and showing how they influence our expectations and behavior, and then looking at the linking the quest for disability rights to new kinds of stories that celebrate difference. So I am interested in seeing what this book has to offer and being opened up to things related specifically to these topics that I haven't thought about before. Then I picked up a book that I had already previously read some time ago. I just didn't own a physical copy of it, and it's one that I know I'm going to want to be rereading again in the future, so I figured I'd pick it up now, and that is Homegoing by Ya Gyazi. I think one thing I'm realizing about myself so far this year as far as my reading goes is I really do love multi-generational family sagas. When they're done right, they're just like my perfect kind of book, and this is one that I remember really enjoying, and I want to reread it again so I can kind of like solidify my own feelings on how I felt about this book, refresh my mind on it, and see if it's one that I possibly would think would be like one of my top books in that kind of like subgenre. And we have a few more new releases. This one I think came out last year. This one's another nonfiction book, and it's African Europeans: An Untold History by Olivette Otel. So pretty much Africans and African Europeans are right now widely believed to be only a recent presence in Europe. So what the author is tracing a long African European heritage through the lives of individuals, both extraordinary and ordinary. She uncovers a forgotten past from Emperor Septimius Severus to enslaved Africans living in Europe during the Renaissance, and all the way to present-day migrants moving to Europe's cities, exploring history that's been long overlooked. This is something that seems like a very interesting topic, and I'm definitely open to learning all about this. Then we have Cherish Farah, which is a novel by Bethany C. Morrow. I have been anticipating this book ever since I seen the cover on it. I knew it was beautiful. I read the synopsis and that still drew me in. I don't want to reread the synopsis in case it gives too much away, as it's something I am trying to read this month, but I do know it's described as a social horror novel. It's supposed to be similar to like Get Out meets My Sister the Serial Killer. So I'm definitely will be reading this month, and you guys can check in with my review, my March wrap up, and see what I think about it next month whenever that gets posted. And then we have Nobody's Magic by Destiny O. Birdsong. This is the last of the books that I picked up from Target. This book I specifically picked up because I'm going to be on the Book Solid podcast, and we have plans to be recording that episode a couple weeks from now, so I wanted to have a physical copy so I can read it right away. I think there's quite a long hold at my library for this, so I just wanted to make sure that I had it and I was able to read it. I'm going to be starting this one super soon, and I wanted to be able to potentially like take notes and stuff on it if I wanted to on anything. This book, we're following 3 different black women who all have the same albinism condition. Then last but not least, we're going to end on the last book that I picked up, and that is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. So eventually I want to reread all of the books in the Song of Fire and Ice series, but I'm just kind of waiting for Winds of Winter to come out, and so I figured until then I would find some other way to solve my Game of Thrones book itch. So I decided to pick up this book since it is set in the same realm as the rest of the series. I also have Fire and Blood back here too, but I'm just like not ready to read that one yet either. It's so big, and so I figured I'd kind of maybe try this one first. So this book has some really cool illustrations as well throughout, which is what also kind of prompted me to want to pick up the physical copy of this book without having read it first. So these illustrations are done by Gary Gianni, and I really like the style that he has illustrated these. I believe there's stories in here. So this one takes place a century before Game of Thrones. This book is bringing together the first 3 official prequel novellas that George R.R. Martin wrote, and they're set in an age when the Targaryen line was still on the Iron Throne. Altogether, there's more than 160 illustrations from this artist, and I think this will be a very fun book to dive into. I'm not exactly sure when yet, but hopefully soon. So those are all the books that I have picked up recently. I probably won't be doing another book haul for another couple of months because I am trying to have a lot of self-control. And what I've also been doing a lot recently, which has helped me, is I will pick up new releases. I'll try to like sample them from my library first before I commit to spending my money on them, because I don't want to like buy them, read them, not like them, and then be out of my money basically, especially because new releases tend to be more on the pricier side as well, since it's harder to find like cheaper used copies. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the books that I've picked up recently, and that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!